So Carlos, it's the eve of the new season, and I imagine there's plenty of excitement to drive that new Ferrari, but also it's tinged with a little sadness because obviously you won't be with the team beyond the end of this year.
Well, I think a year is plenty of time, no, for good things to happen still. A year in red where obviously we will try to give our maximum for this team, for the Tifosi and for everyone at home and in Maranello. An important year ahead where we want to show progress and we want to be fighting for more things than last year, where I prepared myself the best I could, and I'm confident we can make step forwards.
I see that you've already had a chance to drive the car. How did it feel? Did it feel different?
Yeah, if I'm honest, Lawrence, I only did an installation lap. For F1 geeks that know what an installation lap is, it's just making sure all the systems work, the car brakes, turns, and steers and accelerates, so you don't push it to the limit. So it's impossible to know if the car is a bit quicker, much quicker, a bit slower, or whatever. It's until we don't push it at the limit in Bahrain, it's impossible to know. But we had no issues, and the car is running smoothly, so that's positive.
What are the kind of teams saying over the winter about what they're expecting from this year's machine? You've been there a long time, so you kind of know how each winter's developed.
Yeah, I think I've seen some very good progress here in the factory, especially with very clear ambitions and very clear targets of what we want to improve on this year's car, a very clear leadership, and I want to see obviously an improvement in the two main areas that we were weak last year, which was the general drivability of the car. I think you could see us quite on the edge last year in qualifying laps and race with having plenty of moments out there, and then obviously the race pace. Race pace, I think, is something that everyone needs to improve if we want to avoid Max and Red Bull winning some extra races.
Now, how has your winter been? I know that you've obviously changed the way you're going about your training for this season. It looked like you had a lot of fun out on the snow, out on the bike. You feeling, in terms of peak fitness, better than you've ever felt?
Yeah, I think this year I've changed quite a lot the way I train, and I've rethought a bit about my program for a 24 race calendar, which I think is going to be the biggest challenge ever in Formula One for drivers. The cars are getting quicker, they're getting more physical again, and everyone, I think, is going to need to do a step forward this year. I think I've made 2 in terms of preparation, and I feel ready. I've changed. I'm doing a lot more cardio, putting a lot of focus on that endurance to make sure also to recover well with jet lags and traveling, which is going to be fundamental.
What are your expectations then heading into this season? You got that one win last year. You drove, I thought, very consistently and very strongly last year. What would represent a good year for you this year?
Yeah, I think in general, I had a solid year in 2023, and we want to build up from that. I think the important thing in F1 is a bit what we did in Singapore. No, when there's an opportunity to shine, when there's an opportunity to win, make sure we take it, because that's what's gonna keep us in that championship fight if we have a chance to fight for it, and then obviously keep becoming more and more consistent. I think we did some progress also in that last year, and the team was working really well towards the end. So keep making that progress.
Now, I just was wondering how that conversation with Fred went. I know how well you get on with him. So how difficult was it to have that call with him about your future?
Well, first of all, it was obviously a surprise. No, I think the news surprised F1 world as much as it surprised me at the time. Obviously, I got to know earlier than when the news went out, so I was able to prepare and to analyze and think a bit about the situation. For me, I'm only going to say that I'm proud, of these 3 years that I've done with Ferrari. Proud of being a Ferrari driver. I think with still 1 year ahead, there's still many good moments and many good things that could happen still with me in red. And I think life is long. I think there's going to be very good opportunities out there in the silly season, and now it's time to take an important decision for myself and for the future.
You touched on it a little bit, but you've obviously got so much experience. You've shown you can be competitive at every team you've ever been at. Do you feel like you have got lots of options out there? I guess the phone must have been ringing quite a bit.
Yeah, exactly. I know I've been performing well recently, and I know that there's going to be very good opportunities out there to remain competitive in the future in other teams. And now it's time, as I said, to analyze carefully, listen a bit to everyone, and hear a bit from everyone, and make sure that I give myself some time to know exactly what I want to do in the future, where I want to go, and where I'm going to spend my next, who knows, 3-4 years of my career. So it's an important decision. I'm turning 30 this year, which means I'm probably around my peak, I think. So I wanna make sure I give myself some time and to analyze and hear a bit everyone and see where I can go.
Now, I'm pretty sure Fernando's going to disagree with where the peak is, because at 30, you're super, super young. But is that the kind of thing that you'd want maybe going forward, another long-term project? Because that really benefited it, didn't you, here at Ferrari, having that multi-year contract and kind of giving you that confidence?
Yeah, I think it's not a lie that wherever I will go next, I will look for stability and an interesting project to become a champion with in the future. I really believe in stability. I'm a big believer in consistency, in getting to know the people you work with and getting yourself involved in the team that you're in for more than 1 or 2 years. So it's no secret that is my preference, and yeah, that's why I need to give myself time to decide well.
So just finally, Carlos, what would represent a good year for you in 2024?
Hopefully podiums and wins, and whether that takes us to a championship fight, I will not know. It is impossible to know, but hopefully that should be progress compared to last year, where we had a little bit of podiums and 1 win. So let's see. Also a more drivable car, a car that I'm able to have fun with, a car that I'm able to overtake. Unfortunately, last year I was constantly defending in the races more than overtaking, but something that lets us play around a little bit more.